Everybody in this room contributes to the great things that make Maplewood a great community.
A welcoming place, and it's a caring place.
Thank you for choosing Maplewood. This is really where magic works.
That's really going to shape the future of Maplewood.
I am very pleased to report the state of the city is very, very good.
Good morning, everybody. I wanted to start with a little story, and it's a story about the last time that I was fired, which was 2 weeks ago by my 14-year-old daughter. She said I'm no longer allowed to coach her softball team. She said, "Dad, it's time. I need somebody else." And it's one of those moments that you're heartbroken. It's a change. And so I still had a lot to give. And so last Sunday, I spent about 3 hours cleaning out old softball gear and gloves and helmets and bats and did all of those things because I felt like I still had a lot to give. And no matter if you're a superstar softball player or you're the guy cleaning the equipment, there's a lot of opportunities to give back to the community that we serve. And so that is, in the city of Maplewood, there are people who do all of the things, digging ditches, making arrests, making life-saving saves on the fire scene. Everybody plays a role, and everybody in this room contributes to the great things that make Maplewood a great community. So thank you for being here for the 2025 State of the City Address. My name is Mike Sable. I am the city manager, and I had the great fortune of being the city manager for the last year. These events don't happen without the great support of our sponsors. I want to thank our sponsors, Bolton and Mink, and City County Credit Union, for the folks who donate and make this reality. Thank you so much for the coffee and the donuts and for the opportunity to share in the space. It really is a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful partnership. And it's so great to see so many people here. We have community members, we have city staff, city volunteers, regional leaders around the elected officials, our partners in education and in healthcare and in business, and area developers who create opportunities for people to live in the city of Maplewood. It really is an exciting opportunity. And on behalf of everybody here, we just appreciate your support and commitment to the city of Maplewood. You know, one of the things that I appreciate is Maplewood has a unique geography. We touch lots of communities. And if you remember that little stretch that we touch a lot of communities, and we have a different role. We are a regional leader because of that geography, because of that unique shape. We touch a lot of things, and we're an important partner in that. And one of the things that we're not the biggest, right there, St. Paul tends to be the biggest player in the East Metro, but we really do punch above our weight, if you're a boxing term, right? We are a more powerful community than people know. And so one of the things that, because of that, it forces us to be really committed. And so as staff, we've really outlined sort of three things that we think makes Maplewood different and Maplewood special. And the first one is exceptional service. You know, when you're driving on the street in a storm, when you cross over a border into Maplewood, you know that the streets just have a little bit better plowing, a little bit faster service. That exceptional service is real. The second one is, this is what we're committed to as leaders in the organization, is to creating an environment that supports and empowers staff. I don't perform a lot of the services that people rely on. I've never run a parks program. I've never driven a snowplow. I've never done some of the basic things. But we have an incredible team of people who do that work for us. They do a really great job. And so one of the things that my job is to create an environment that supports and empowers that. And the third piece that was really our pillar is real strong relationships. We can't do everything alone. We rely on partners across the region. And so part of why this day is so special is an opportunity to thank our partners. And for the folks who work with me every day, they know I'm a huge fan of numbers, and not only in our data and our data sharing, but I also have a joke that I've officially worked here for 1 year, 8 days, 1 hour, 20 minutes, and about 45 seconds ago. And so that is, it really has been a remarkable year for me personally and professionally. I'm so grateful for the opportunity this council gave me, the opportunity to work with the staff, an opportunity to work with the community. So my new favorite tool at work is, I'm a big fan of ChatGPT. If folks haven't used it, it's an incredible time saver and just an opportunity to help think through. As I stress to our executive leadership team, right, our job is to position people for success. and to provide tools and resources to be in a spot where they can be the most successful in this. So this is a great opportunity for this. And so I'm going to turn it over to Joe Sheeran, our communications director, who's going to talk about some of the numbers that make this community so great. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it. Normally, at this point, we do the funny meet the team video where we show the bloopers and everybody gets to introduce themselves. We're going in a little different direction this year, thanks to the leadership of some of those people on that executive leadership team. We're going to introduce you to some of the people and some, more importantly, what they do every day to get us towards success. Normally, police, fire are front and center in Maplewood. They get all the glory and all the credit, and deservedly so. But today, I want to talk about another set of heroes, right? Those folks on our sanitary sewer team. They clean out 60 miles of sanitary sewer almost every year so that when we flush, it flows in the right direction. This is not an exhaustive list. If it was, I'd be here for days. But we want to recognize those folks behind the scenes. Thanks to their counterparts over in the engineering team and in the street maintenance crews, we have 70% of our roads in good to excellent condition. That doesn't just happen. They go block by block, mile by mile, methodically, coordinated to get the job done. And I'm going to borrow a line that I saw in the Star Tribune last week. We live in a place where the winter tries to kill us every year. So thanks to the 30 people who are plow drivers, mechanics, administrative staff, who get out there in all hours of the night, in all conditions, to get our roads clean so that we could commute safely. Now, we have our community development team. They're sitting over in the back. You're going to hear more about sort of the projects and the buildings and those kinds of things later on. But they have more than 10,000 touches. They go and inspect restaurants. They inspect office buildings, they inspect houses, they inspect rental houses because of them, and they also make sure that the code compliance is up to date so we don't look like we're in a dystopian future. So thanks to this entire team back in the corner. I'm not going to mention anybody by name. They're probably mad that I put their pictures up on the screen. Our city clerk staff, they handle 15,000 calls a year, people coming in all times of the day with a myriad of questions about the city, about services, about how to get what they need, right? Some are frustrated, some don't know, they don't have many touches with the city, and they handle everyone with dignity and respect and grace. Now, say what you want about the folks in Washington, D.C., but right here, our city election staff is the backbone of local democracy. They ran 3 elections last year, nearly 30,000 votes cast, not one major hiccup. That's huge. Now, again, you'll hear more about our Parks Department a little later on, but just a little plug for our next upcoming event. April 19th is our egg hunt, and Neil and Audra and their team put out nearly 2,000 Easter eggs for kids to pick up. So if you have little ones, go out there and make sure you sign up for that. The information's on our website. And then EAB, Environment. We lost more than 2,000 trees over the last several years. They've been able to respond by replacing almost every one of them one for one. And that goes out to the Natural Resources team. Excellent job. Now, I will turn around and give a shout out to our Public Safety Department. They handle more than 45,000 calls for service a year. EMS and fire had a record year at 81,000 calls. They did an amazing job handling those calls. Fire Chief Mondor has a saying, treat your patients as you would want someone to treat your family, right? And that goes along with service before self as well. Again, you're going to hear more about the police and fire later on, but I just want to let you know, and they're exceeding their response time goals. So at this point, I'd like to bring up Councilmember Chonberry Lee. Chonberry is going to talk a little bit about his commitment to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Well, as you see, I'm very blessed with height. I always, when I was younger, I used to wish for maybe an extra 2-inch, and it never really happened. So, well, good morning to everyone. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for being here today. Taking the time out of your busy schedule and your busy day to be here with us. It says a lot about who we are as a community. I just want to follow up with the conversations that our city manager and Joe has already talked about. There's a lot of moving pieces in the city, and before I became a council member, I really didn't understand that. Now I understand why the road is done a certain way, why there's a certain regulation around X, Y, and Z. There are so many moving pieces, and local government is very confusing. But for me, it's super exciting and super fun when I get those packages, every other week's packages. I want to take a moment to just remind folks that we are a true, a caring community. We love our city, and we love it from the bottom of our heart. And I wanted to quickly just share a little, one of my mentor mentioned to, growing up, he said, whenever you help anyone, you help them wholeheartedly, not expecting anything in return, not expecting gratitude in return. That's what our staff does every single day. That's what the people in the city of Maplewood does every single day. And I say that because last year during an ice storm, 3 separate household community member from where I live, I'm on Stillwater in Ferndale, during an ice storm, everyone came out because there was a car accident. We were directing traffic. I almost applied to be a police officer because we were so good at it. But that's how much our community cares about each other here at Maplewood, and that's what makes us very different. But on top of that, our staff, you truly make the magic work here at Maplewood. Thank you for doing all the work that you do. Our community is constantly changing, and our council has done a great job on behalf of the council. Thank you for being a part of the city of Maplewood. We're doing a great job at looking at policies, doing a great job at looking at how we can ensure that policies are inclusive of our entire and our changing community. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of Maplewood, to all of our business members, to the constituents, to our staff here, to all the folks who are investing in the city of Maplewood, the developers. Thank you for choosing Maplewood. This is really where magic works. I want to take a moment to introduce our next council member Nikki Villavicencio. Is one of the hardest working folks that I know, and is constantly, if she's not here at the city or at work, she's at the Capitol. So, council member Villavicencio.
Thank you, Councilmember Marylee, and I have the blessing of being short as well. So thank you, Joe. And also another thanks to all our staff. They're always there for us and making sure that the city is running the way it needs, and making sure that we look good too. So you can see on the slide here, the things that I really care and value about Maplewood and look forward to in the future is continuing our open communication, not just with our staff, but with the residents and what the residents really care about. And the things that I'm looking forward to in the future is we have some really amazing things happening in our economic development. Strategic planning is going on, specifically in our economic development, and I think that's really going to shape the future of Maplewood into being the best community it can be on the East Metro. A lot of people know I take public transit, so I get to meet a lot of new neighbors all the time just by being a transit user. And so I often tease the bus drivers and say, oh yeah, like when I'm on the Metro Mobility Road, oh, you can just turn in that guy's driveway. I know him, he'd be fine with that. And so it gives me an opportunity to meet a lot of new neighbors and to talk to them, and I hope that they can feel comfortable about telling me things that they care about in this community. One of the reasons why I came to the Maplewood City Council was I saw that it had a value in environment. And that's really due to the fact that Councilmember Juneman has a legacy here in Maplewood of valuing the environment, and I've learned so much from her leadership in that. And so the next person that's going to be able to speak is Councilmember Juneman, and I'm so thankful that she's allowed us to see how community government can really be approachable and attainable to all kinds of people, and you can take your values and bring them to City Hall, like Councilmember Juneman.
After that, I shouldn't have to say anything. I'm really happy you're all here. Thank you for coming. As my colleagues have said, Maplewood is a great place, and whenever they talk about the shape and how many other communities we border, I always like to add, and we're better than all of them. Two of the things that bring me the most joy and the most pride in this community are our public safety department and, of course, the environment. And our public safety department is recognized all over the place, for their policies and for how they take people as real. I've heard this from other communities because of mutual aid, that when somebody from the Maplewood Fire EMS comes to the house, you feel cared about. That's huge. And I really think that their innovative thinking and their caring service is what makes us very desirable as a community. Let's face it, if we're not safe, what else is there? Maybe you don't realize that you see it on the news, that retention and attracting new members to these departments is very difficult. And our chiefs can tell you it's difficult, but they have little less difficulty than other places because of their culture, and they need to be recognized for that. It's a welcoming place and it's a caring place. They focus on employee wellness. It's really, you can imagine being in that kind of a job, how much that makes a difference. The environment is my thing. I don't know exactly why, but I think it started a long time ago, growing up across from the Maplewood Nature Center. And it just kind of got in my blood. We're known regionally as an environmental leader, and it's our environmental stewardship and our natural resources protection and our climate adaptation plan have made us, we're on the top of the Green Step City program. You've probably heard of that throughout the state. And we've been at the top so long, and they still haven't been able to come up with enough blocks for us because we keep doing more and more. And we are very fortunate to have environmental planner and part of the Natural Resources Department. Not many cities have that. It talks about our city commitment to this, and we're going to stay regional leaders, not just because of me, believe me. And I want you to know that later this spring, it'll be in the city news. We're going to roll out our climate mitigation plan, which is a way for all of us to participate in being a resilient community in a time when climate is an issue. So we are on top of that. And a great thanks to our environmental department. Thank you. Now, let's see. Who could be left to introduce? Let me think. No guessing here. One thing you may not know about her, although some of you may, is that the mayor is a fabulous cook, and she loves to cook. And she comes from a family of cooks. I never heard so much about good food in my life as when I ride with the mayor. And it makes me jealous. So here's our mayor, Marylee Abrams.
Thank you, Council Member Juniman. Welcome, friends and neighbors. I am thrilled that you are all here. As City Manager Sable, I don't know quite what to do with this cane. For some of you, you know that I have a baby hip. It's only a month old. And so I'm using that, but everything is going well with it, considering it's just a baby hip. As Mr. Sable said just a little while ago, he's been here a year, and I have to say he's doing a spectacular job. We have an awful lot to thank him for the direction of our city. Let's give him a round of applause. I know he'll be embarrassed. One of our main focuses this last year has been on revitalizing Maplewood. The community development team, I saw you all back there, led by Director Danette Parr, has been very focused on maximizing underused land and attracting development. These and other long-term investments have ensured that we're able to build housing for all needs and for all life stages. This includes multifamily buildings, affordable units, and senior living opportunities. Thanks to a once-in-a-generation opportunity, we're being very intentional about guiding a new neighborhood on the former ponds at Battle Creek Golf Course. It'll feature a mix of townhomes and single-family homes. I'm very proud about our recent work on the council to secure a revolving loan fund that is going to maintain home values and help modernize our current housing stock. The new program will provide affordable loans for middle and lower income homeowners and seniors so that they're able to upgrade home exteriors, improve energy efficiency, and install accessibility features. This is going to be a game changer for Maplewood. Last week, we applied for state matching dollars to build up the fund, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to leverage state grant funds in addition to the $300,000 startup funds that were approved by our EDA. So here is a look at some of the major projects that we're working on in Maplewood.
We're enhancing our Gladstone corridor with about 300 living units coming to market in the next several months. They fill a variety of housing needs. You might have already seen advertisements for the Oberon Apartments. It's modern market rate living with grand views of the Gladstone Savannah. Oberon has plenty of amenities to attract people to our community while also appealing to Maplewood residents looking for a new place. The Aspen from developer J.B. Vang meets the needs of those looking for traditional and multi-generational living. We're also looking forward to the project's Phase 2, which will help fill affordable housing demand. Farther down the Gladstone corridor, people will start moving into the American Cooperative at Lake Phelan. It is a 62-plus community that provides residents a chance to downsize while still retaining equity in residential real estate. While these grand projects are more visible and help us expand Maplewood's tax base, several smaller projects have creatively maximized underused land while improving our community. They include a new health clinic on White Bear Avenue, just north of Larpenteur. Along Highway 61, Hampton Companies, a locally owned contractor, is building a new office and showroom. Before construction, this area was a significant code enforcement issue with people dumping garbage. Along County Road D, the final phase of Legacy Village is expected to break ground, providing 20 units of assisted living. These types of units are important as we look forward to St. John's next phase of expansion. Already, the hospital has brought more cardiac care and other services to Maplewood. This is one of many assets that help ensure overall community health. Another asset is our expansive park system for people to exercise, get fresh air, and gather as a community. In the year ahead, we'll start Hazelwood Park's master planning. Down the road at Harvest Park, we'll install a new playground, which is the initial phase of its recently passed master plan. Expect significant improvements there in the coming years. Coleman Park's playground will also get an upgrade. The city strives for at least one playground refresh a year to maintain our expansive system. Each design includes neighborhood input. Recently, a national real estate organization reached out to ask what makes Maplewood unique. We were proud to highlight our parks, preserves, and open spaces, and our nature center. While we're talking numbers, I'd like to point out three big ones. Last year, we had more than 3,000 hours of community engagement at more than 100 events, reaching more than 17,000 people. A big thanks to our public safety department for meeting people where they are to build community connections. Their outreach ran the scale from fishing with friends and putt-putt with public safety to bingo with seniors and, of course, Trunk or Treat, which brings people to Maplewood from across the metro. Parks and Natural Resources also provided the setting for several larger events, such as Celebrate Summer and Friday Fireworks. Beyond community engagement, public safety is starting several initiatives. In the year ahead, the Fire EMS Department is partnering with major universities and local hospitals on research to help combat falling issues among seniors, general firefighter health, and other critical care needs. The police department is rolling out studies on staffing and technology efficiencies. We also expect to start using our new Scene Command vehicle for better operations management. An emergency response vehicle is also expected to be delivered. This will help get police, fire, EMS professionals, and victims into or out of crisis scenes more safely.
As you can see, our police and fire EMS closely coordinate with each other and with other departments. It's critical that they have opportunities to train together as well. That's why I am very proud to say that we're working with our state legislative delegation to secure bonding money to expand the East Metro Public Safety Training Facility located in Maplewood. More than 25 agencies, including 3M and Century College, currently use the facility. Expanding it will allow cross-training among police, fire, and embedded social workers. It'll provide more realistic simulations and help better prepare first responders for joint command operations. While we never want to face a crisis, it's important to be prepared. In raising my two sons, one of the old adages that I used to use with them was fail to plan, plan to fail. Over the last several years, I have worked very closely making a strong connection between the city and our local faith leaders. Last year, we had a disaster preparation discussion. Our local faith leadership offered up a variety of resources should the city need them during a crisis, from opening up places of worship in an emergency to providing meals or rest stops, and even the use of a parking lot to stage storm damage. Our partnerships are critical for Maplewood to ensure that we're a safe, healthy, and livable community. I want to say a special thanks to the folks that were part of that disaster preparation discussion. If you could just raise your hand if you so inclined, or stand up, please. I want to say thank you to the Salvation Army, to Woodland Hills Church, to St. Paul's Monastery, to the presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary Church, to Compassion Church, the Church of Pentecost, Cross Lutheran, and Gethsemane Lutheran Church, as well as Redeeming Love Church. They all came together in support of how they may help us in the event that we should have an emergency. I want to thank you, all of them, for their work. Also partnering with us on a disaster preparation plan is our Maplewood Hy-Vee District Manager, John Blocker. I know John is here. If you want to raise your hand. Thank you, John. Hy-Vee provides an emergency number that can access truckloads of water and supplies should they be needed in a city emergency. It's great to have a partner like that. In just a few short months, we will be starting our 2026 budget discussions. City Manager Mike Sable says that our budget is not just about dollars and cents. It's about values and priorities. This will be my 12th budget cycle, and the best way that I can describe what it's like is by asking, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. This next budget cycle, we're going to break down the budget into digestible pieces. And I want to make sure that our community is at the table with the council. With the help of my fellow council members, we will be expanding community input to include surveys, public comment, and listening sessions to connect our values and our priorities with how we spend our resources. We'll also be adding a 2-year budget projection to help us look into the future. And we'll also be adding 5- and 10-year forecasts to ensure that we will have a clear picture of our financial future. Together, we will all be eating an elephant one bite at a time. I want to finally call out a few other partners that I know are in the audience who add real value to our community and share in partnership with us. We could not do what we do in Maplewood without these partners. If I have missed anyone, then please accept my apology. But there are just so many people I wanted to acknowledge. So here we go. And if you could raise your hand, or you know what, I'm gonna make you stand up because you are really an important partner in our city. In our business sector, thank you to the St. Paul Area Chamber, to the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce, and the White Bear Area Chamber for supporting our local businesses. Thank you to our elected officials who selflessly, there you go. Thank you. You make our businesses strong. Thank you to our elected officials who selflessly serve our community. We have Ramsey County Commissioner Kelly Miller and Tara Jebin Singh with us today. Thank you. I also want to call out Senator Zhang, Senator Mitchell, Representatives Lilly, Peter Fisher, and Amanda Hemmingson Yeager. We know that they are at the legislature working on our behalf. Thank you to those providing valuable services to our community, including the Rotary Club of North St. Paul, the Salvation Army, Salvation Army Lakewood, M Health Fairview, Fairview Health Services, Maplewood North Lions, and Maplewood Oakdale Lions Club. Would you all please stand? Thank you for what you do. Thank you to our educators for teaching our students and making sure that we have future citizens who want to participate in our community. We have representatives here from District 622, Hill Murray and Century College. Would you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you for your partnership with the city. I want to say thank you to my fellow council members and to our amazing staff. Staff, I'd like you, all staff, to stand up. None of this can happen without staff. They're our first line. So all staff, stand up. Thank you to Mike Sable for serving our staff and our community. He does so very personally and very professionally. I know that there are many here who are worthy of acknowledgement, and I apologize, like I said, for any omissions. You know who you are, and you know what wonderful things you contribute to Maplewood. Thank you all for your ongoing support and for your collaboration. I am very pleased to report the state of the city is very, very good. We appreciate you sharing this time with us this morning. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. And so in the spirit of the three pillars that drive city staff, the third one was strong relationships. The one thing I would encourage you to do before you leave is to introduce yourself to one person that you don't know. Ask them a question about what brings them here to Maplewood, and they'll be able to foster a new connection, and we can deepen our relationships, because that's the thing that's going to help us move forward together. That is our program for the day. Please help yourself to the food and to the coffee and the drinks, and introduce yourself to one person you don't know. And thank you for making Maplewood a great community. Thanks.